interesting. I always midday like to go through Facebook memories. Do y'all go through Facebook memories? Show of hands in the chat. Do you ever go on Facebook and go through old memories on there? So I did it today, but mainly what I always do is I do it from a business perspective, meaning I go on to Facebook and then I look at the memories for the show, things that we've posted. And you know what's interesting? Something that I found today was that 3 years ago, it was announced that it was official that Odell Beckham Jr. had been suspended by LSU for 2 years because of his involvement in handing cash to players when they won the national championship in 2020. What's interesting about that is that in 7 short months after Odell Beckham would do that, this thing called a collective would be formed for some schools around college football. A&M did it. Texas did it. Miami did it. LSU wind up forming a collective about 9 months after the fact that Odell got popped. It's interesting that in the time that Odell officially got banned from LSU for handing cash in the 2020 national championship in January of 2020, 19 season clearly, is that in not so short order, you would have collectives being formed to pay players to come to your school. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm glad to see Odell Beckham back on the sidelines. Is it just me? I'm glad of it. One of the premier LSU players of all time. So if you don't go back to Facebook memories, maybe this is a note for you. You might need to go check them out. You never know what you're going to find. Nevertheless, we're live. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. If you haven't watched or listened to the show before live, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell if you're on YouTube. We are going to recap LSU versus Arkansas. Things now that the game is over and you're able to take a couple of days, Sunday and pretty much for us all day today, and go back and rewatch the game over and over and over and over again. Let's break that game down. We'll do that with me and you. Then Carter Bryant's going to join us at 7:30. We'll talk to him about it as well. We do this, and we've been doing this in the SEC every Monday. We try to give a small preview at the very end before Carter comes here of what we think about the team that we're playing. Now, you can go to AYS SEC and check that out because we gave a pretty big deep dive into that game already on a Monday. But we're going to preview some things about Texas A&M here tonight. I'm excited about that. Carter's here. Brian Kelly met with the media. And normally we don't get to Brian Kelly stuff on Mondays because Carter joins us. We have a really good time, and it is what it is. But Brian Kelly said some key things today. I think that this is going to be a fun one. By the way, it's the premier matchup in the SEC this week. Guys, if you win it, you're the number one team in the SEC right now. If I would have told you going into the second bye week, going into Bama, that you would be leading the SEC if you win against A&M, you would have said to me, Blake, what type of crack are you smoking? But you're in a week now where you're going up against Texas A&M, and if you win it, you lead the SEC outright right now. Because it's a great day to be alive. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you keep winning and you go to Atlanta, the worst thing that can happen, if you make a playoff, you might get a home game in Death Valley, in Baton Rouge. So it's going to be interesting. Not missed upon me. Not missed upon your boy. 3 weeks ago today, 3 weeks, your boy came out here on a Monday and said, is LSU a playoff contender? And I got laughed out of the building. Laughed out of the building. How the turns have tabled. How do you say that? The Michael Scott quote? How the turntables? Huh. Maybe your boy had a little bit of foresight. Just throwing it out there. Humble golf clap. Humble golf clap. All I'm going to say, now you're staring it in the face. Now you're 1,000% Staring it right in the face. So we'll get to that. I like this. Fat Boy Slim says in his Trump voice, they're eating the hugs. They're eating the cats. It's senile. I don't do a good Trump, but I see what you're saying. David says, what's up with CJ Daniels? I mean, he came back in the game. So I feel like he'll be good to go. We'll see on Wednesday. Dane Bergeron says, good evening, Blake. Great seeing OBJ back on the sidelines. I do agree, but I think it's funny. Boy, oh boy, do I think it's funny. Tyler Townsend says, the 318 is in the house. We have to beat the Yell leaders. I agree. I 100% agree. You got to beat them. Which reminds me, where is everybody watching from tonight? Rob Boudreaux says he's in the 337. Rain is in the building. Mickey is in the 318, but I can't bring his comment up because he called the Aggies something that we just cannot call or say on this show. We'll get canceled for saying what he called them. But I think that what rhymes with Aggies? Put an F in front of it. That's what he said. I can't put this on the show. Cody McGee says, how the tables have turned, bro. Love the demon shirt. Oh, yeah. Repping the FKT on this fine evening. Franklinton Baseball. Just going to throw this out there. Shout out to our good friend and cousin. Yes, first cousin, so I'm extremely biased. But shout out to Coach Clay Tajon and the boys. Looking to have a good year. The football team's doing really good. Got to show some love. You know, we were on a national show. Franklinton has gone national now. Rufino and Joe Show doing numbers. That's all I'm going to say. But yes, we are going to be a supporter of our good friend and cousin, Coach Clay Tajon. You got to love it. Demons are rolling, man. Demons are rolling. Gerald says, what's up, Blake? Birthday is this Saturday, and you could only imagine what's on number one on my list this year. Go Tigers. Well, I'll tell you. I'm right there with you, Gerald, because on the 25th, it is baby Jules' birthday. My little girl is turning 2. Boy, I'm getting old. I know you can't see this. Well, you can see it. Your boy's got a gray in his beard. My wife tells me I need to pluck it. She says it's, and I'm quoting, gross. So, I get it. My little girl's turning 2, man. See, she knew. I don't know if y'all remember last year. Or was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. I don't think you guys, because she's going to be 2. Y'all don't remember this time 2 years ago. Your boy was headed to the hospital in a couple of days. She came during the LSU bye week. That is what you call a daddy's girl. She knew. She 1,000% knew. Hey, Dan, daddy's on a bye week. Need to go home. Because she wasn't supposed to be delivered till the Friday before LSU versus Alabama. But she knew. Gotta love him, man. Gotta love him. My sweet baby Jewel, she is amazing. Daddy's girl, by the way. Ooh, wee. Anyway, Aaron Miller says, come after the Ole Miss game. Came after the Ole Miss game. What does that mean? What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about baby Joel? Yeah. Maybe it was. I can't remember that. Adam says, I remember because we had that Tebow impersonator on. Was that, who do we have? Was it Pooh Bear and Zach? Yeah, 3 days. Your boy was only at the hospital for a couple of days. My wife, Megan, she's a champion, man. Absolute champion. Gotta love her. Texas Vet says defense much improved. Guys, look, I'm not gonna be the dude that's like, told you so, but they're getting better, man. We're gonna talk about that in just a moment. Let me do this. Let's get to a quick break. We got to break down this LSU Arkansas game. Things that when you go back and watch it, maybe just things that I see. We'll talk about that. We'll get a little preview in A&M. Carter will join us. We're going to have a really good show and a really good time. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share all those groups. If you're on Facebook, to all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friends over at J&J Exterminating, and our good pal Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty. We're back next. Let's break it all down. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's get this thing rolling. Everybody does us a favor right now. Hit the like and share. Be so gracious and help us out there. Tell 5 friends, by the way. I know that you know 5 LSU fans that you have not seen in the comments. Send them this show. Send them AYS. Do it. Please. I'm begging you. Just help a brother out. It's not too hard to ask. LSU beat Arkansas in what was, in my humble opinion, we talked about this on the postgame, I feel a dominating performance that could have been worse, but LSU from the very first snap of the game dominated. Doesn't mean that they didn't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that they didn't have some things that I'm sure that they wanted back. But overall, a 34-10 win over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Let's start off with the offensive side of the football because I don't think that we can start anywhere else other than one thing, in my humble opinion. I thought that the game plan that Garrett Nussmeier executed and that Joe Sloan called was absolutely fantastic. I loved that when Arkansas played off coverage, hey, man, we're going to take the 8, 9, 10, 11 yards that you continue to give us. And it comes off of a game against Ole Miss that you were taking shot after shot after shot. It was like a P. Diddy commercial. But you reduced that. You were able to combat that. You were able to say, look, there are things that we can fix right now to make our offense better. Let's get this intermediate passing game going with our 2 big-bodied wide receivers and C.J. Daniels and Kyron Lacey. I thought, humbly, that it was, in doubt, the best called game by Joe Sloan, even with the mistakes that you had along the offensive line. You know, I look at some of the situations that you were in. You were in a lot of 3rd and manageables, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and you went to the intermediate passing game that started opening things up for you. It was brilliant, guys. Now, look, what you're going to tell me, and I know what a lot of people are going to tell me here is this, and it's simple. Blake, how is it that Garrett Nussmeier has no touchdowns? He doesn't have any interceptions, which fantastic. Love every single thing about that. But he doesn't have any touchdowns. He doesn't have a rushing touchdown. how can you say that you love the offensive performance? Because, guys, there's something to be said that when the defense gives you something, that you can completely overtake them and overwhelm them. The game inside the game. The stats don't always tell the numbers. You know, our LSU great Booger McFarland put it clearly this week, and I thought it was funny, and I've heard this before, and if you've ever played football, you've heard this before too. Stats are like bikinis. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. Him having no touchdowns means nothing to me when I go back in that game and see a DB playing 8, 9 yard, 10 yards off of the receiver, and you lining up and saying, you know what, we're going to be so simple. Screw these double moves. Screw these mesh routes. Screw everything about what we're doing. Kyron Lacy, they're giving Kyron Lacy 8 yards. They're giving CJ Daniels 8 yards. And when they come up and bump and run, and they're close to the line of scrimmage, we get Aaron Anderson or Trades Green on a slant. We're going to methodically move the football down the field, and we're going to bust you up. We're going to line up in pistol with one of our really talented running backs who's not been able to get going. You know, a lot of you this year asked, pleaded, some of you flat out begged for that Caleb Jackson be in a pistol type situation, and you hand the ball off and get him ahead of steam and let him run. Guys, he had 5 carries. It's not necessarily significant runs, but he goes for 30 yards. He's being physical, has a really good run of 12 yards early in the game. Really effective. And then you have what is now, and what we found out from BK's press conference today, about an 85% Caden Durham who's getting healthier. Guys, he's only going to continue to get healthy, barring, knock on wood, a setback. Guys, I loved everything about Saturday. Everything about it, offensively. Now, the things that you got to clean up, I am not overreacting to in a one-game sample, because we've seen this team through 7 games, and yeah, they've had some pretty bad false starts, but it hasn't been this bad. And in a win that is as dominating as Saturday was, boy, I'm sure glad this happened at Arkansas this week instead of when you're going to A&M this week. Because now you know, your brother knows, your sister knows, your daddy and grandmammy and your mommy, all of them know that Brian Kelly is going to be harping and preaching on that you cannot go into A&M and have these false start penalties, or you're going to lose. This is what I'm talking about. So last week, a lot of you got mad at me, which is fine, but you got mad at me for my critiques of Garrett. Guys, a lot of these same things that they did on Saturday night in the domination of Arkansas have been there. They've been there. And if teams are going to play off coverage on you, guys, you have 2 wide receivers that 6'2 plus on the outside that can carve you up. Guys, it was a 3rd and 7 call. I don't know if y'all remember this. It was in the second half. But a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 call. LSU bunches out. They go 5 wide. They got a slot wide receiver. They got Josh Williams that goes in motion. He's the far out wide receiver on the left. They go they go Kyron Lacy in the slot. Trades Green. And then they have CJ Daniels. Guys, everybody on the outside runs verts. So the defense bails out. Linebackers bail out. Kyron Lacy runs a small little crossing route. Boom. 8 yards. First down. The chains keep moving. Guys, that's the game of football. If they're going to give you something, you take it. The game of football, or sports in general, is taking what the team in front of you doesn't want to give up. We understand that, right? You know, Xavier Thomas, at least 3 times a week ago against Ole Miss on that same call, is open. I love the fact that Joe Sloan and Garrett Nussmeier cleaned up the mistakes that we talked about a week ago. They cleaned it up in 1 week. That shows me two things. Number one, you have a mature play caller. Number two, your signal caller, your quarterback, is the one that executed that game plan. Guys, I'm telling you, there has not been a better offensive performance that you've had at all year than this one. It doesn't exist. Now, you'll talk about some of the great throws to Aaron Anderson against Ole Miss. Those are elite throws. Those are elite catches in big times, big moments, big players made big plays. But there comes a point in time when a team does what Arkansas planned to do against a really good team in defense. Guys, they were a top 25 or top 35 defense statistically. You should have been able to have success on them. Not that level of success. You had an offensive meeting that happened on Monday, and BK said, listen, this is what we're going to execute this week. Arkansas is going to back off of us based off of what we did. If everybody is going to back off of us now, and these boundary corners are going to back off, CJ Daniels, 8 catches, bam. Kyron Lacey, 7 catches, bam. Oh, you want to put a smaller safety on Tradez Green on third down slant, bam, first down. That is executing. Now, I am not and have never once said that you don't need to take shots down the football field. Against A&M, you're going to have to do that. Now, let me break off of that point very quickly. There is a possibility that you get your biggest weapon at forcing the ball down the field this week in Chris Hilton. I'm going to say that on a Monday. However, even though I have been told, even though I've heard that, even though I believe that it could be possible, I need to see Chris Hilton get on the field. Okay? So I am not trying to report anything. I am just saying what I know for a fact. And that being that Chris Hilton should be back this week. In my heart and in my gut, something tells me, yeah, you need to see it. And that is the truth. That is open book, 100%, why you come to this show and why I am real with you. There is a potential you could get him back this week. We got to see that happen, though. These eyes got to see it happen. Guys, the touchdowns don't bother me for Nussmeier, right? Like, they don't bother me that he has none because he executed what they gave him and he took them and he read a defense correctly. Boom, 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 boom. F them up. If they are going to give you something, you take it. And I cannot emphasize this enough. If he is maturing at the part of right now, he made some very bad throws. When he got out of the game plan, you remember the game. A lot of you watched the game. There were multiple throws that he had that should have been picked. And guys, no telling what happens if those passes are picked. But one thing I know is if I'm going to get that level of execution, you're going to win a lot of football games this year. With the defense that you have, if that's the way that Nussmeier executes, you're going to F some teams up. I don't care because what happens is, and when you get that short game rolling, the defense is going, especially the D-line is going like, man, am I really going to give all out on this pass rush when I have no chance of getting to him? It's 3rd and 6. Landon Jackson's given Will Campbell his best pass rush move, and by the time he hits the dip and rip, the ball is out, and Kyron Lacey is one step away from getting a first down. Flawless. As a great video game once said, when you were clapping them cheeks, flawless victory. I think you did so many good things. The penalties don't really worry me. They will start worrying me if it continues. This has been, for what it's worth, and I understand it, this has been an issue for DJ Chester, and he's got to clean it up. There are many things that he can do and you can do as a team to help him clean that up. Guys, this is the 7th game, or that was the 7th game that in his life he played center. It's not like he grew up being a center in high school. It's not like, well, hey, man, this guy's a first-time starter, but he played that same position his entire life. It's not the same. So you do got to clean that up. Guys, right now, LSU is 25th in the country in total offense. And they're about where you would want them. And with the defense emerging, and now that you're going into a great or going up against a great team in a very hostile environment, how do you react to it? But me and my co-host Joe do power rankings every single week, okay? And in those power rankings, I know that we only talk about 1 through 10. I do a top 25. In my top 25, I had Arkansas the 24th best team in the country. In that being said, I think with you beating Ole Miss and you beating Arkansas, to me, the way that I view it, not the way that you have to view it, the way that I view it is you have two top 25 wins the last 2 weeks. I don't trust anybody in the AP poll after seeing some very well-liked people who voted in it. Some of them, like, I don't miss me with this. Some of them are incompetent when it comes to some of the things that they put down on paper. That's a whole nother story. Now you go into a third one. And this is where your defense truly needs to shine. Texas A&M offensively, they haven't done things enough this season consistently that should scare you. Now, I know what a lot of you were thinking. Well, Blake, they beat the dog crap out of Missouri. They lined up, ran the football right at them, and busted them right in the mouth. Guys, LSU is 33rd in the country in run defense, something that you and I are going to discuss ad nauseum this week. A&M's run game versus your front seven. Their strength on what has been defensively your strength. I hate doing this because in reality, this did not happen. But I want to tell you something that if you could eliminate the explosive plays as if Ulysses Bentley going for a 50-yard run for a touchdown, if you take away the Rocket Sanders 65-yard run for a touchdown, if you take away the 75-yard run by Lenore Sellers for a touchdown, guys, did you know that you're top 10 in run defense? Top 10. The reason and the only reason why I want to point that out about you defensively is due to the fact it gives a holistic view of how your running game has been other than one singular play. And that's what we talked about stats and bikinis earlier. Stats show you a lot like a bikini would, but it doesn't show you everything. Guys, defensively, you're getting a lot better. You know, Sage Ryan had arguably the biggest hit that I've seen an LSU defender lay on someone in quite some time. Guys, that is the LSU defense that you have come to know. This LSU defense that is lined up and busting dudes in the mouth. That is the LSU defense that you've known since 2000. And guess who laid it down? Sage Ryan. You know, 3 weeks ago, we talked about safety plays got to get better. Well, what are you going to say about Major Burns? Because here's the truth. Major Burns, against a wide receiver, got his head turned around and batted a ball away. That might be the spookiest thing that I've seen since Forrest Gump broke out of his braces and started running away from the bikes. You have the potential to be really good. Defensively, I think the only leak that you have right now is secondary and how you cover in moments. Guys, you're 103rd in the country in passing yards allowed. You have been leaky. But you've gotten to the quarterback, you've gotten turnovers, you've gotten sacks, and by God, the last 4 weeks, you've lined up and clapped some cheeks up front of that against other teams' offensive lines. You got a really good O-line that you're going up against this week. Guys, they want to run the football. But here's the truth. Can Ahmad Bro, the true freshman, who we don't talk about enough, can he continue to be as good as he has been? Gio Paez, Don McKinley, can those guys continue to make plays? Will be the ultimate question. And a small preview, Carter's going to join us in 30 seconds. This is what I think you got to do, and I'm going to tell you on a Monday. You got to get out to a fast start like you did against Arkansas. I don't think that A&M can keep up with you. I don't. So, we'll see. All right. Yeah, I know that Leaky is probably, B says crying face emojis. Okay, fair. Leaky pause. And then we got the ultimate thing here, the honky badger. Yeah. Guys, Whit Weeks has played phenomenal. Post Harold Perkins. He's played incredible. Incredible. Guys, and to be true with you, so has Keys. Keys came in here and made some plays. Xavier Atkins came in the game and made some plays. Gosh, you're just getting so much better defensively in the front seven. Guys, if Sage Ryan, let me tell you this. There's an A&M receiver that saw Sage Ryan lay that hit out on Arkansas on film this week, and you know what they're saying? Shit. I ain't going in there like that. All right, Sage, we see you. We see you. Hello, let's go. All right. But it wasn't a targeting. That man hit him with a shoulder right in the chest. That man got messed up. Let me get to a quick break. Carter Bryant joins us on the other side. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Easy Free Bail Bonds, LLC, where they get your feet back on the street. There may come a time where a loved one or yourself is arrested and you don't have enough money to get bail from jail. Easy Free Bail Bonds will assist you in the process of getting bail bonds for your family. These bonds are a way to ensure that you're financially covered when a predicament like an arrest occurs. Easy Free Bail Bonds is located inside the state of Louisiana with an expert team of bondsmen that are available to assist you or your family 24/7. The team is professional and has a high-quality work ethic that will give you nothing but satisfaction. The company takes feedback from past customers in order to better their services and are always looking to accommodate and mold their services that best fit your needs. Remember this number, 985-517-3631. That's 985-517-3631. Because when you need to get back on your feet and back on the street, you know who to call. We're back. Carter, the power, Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. You're muted.
There we are. Let's go. Huh?
Okay, there you are. Cutter, the power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Man, Blake, so much fun watching the Golden Boot go to LSU. There is nothing like winning a game on the road at somebody else's building. And yes, Tiger Stadium is great. But when your team is just suffocating the other team, it is so sweet. And Blake, it's even sweeter when it happens and you're in the entire Arkansas section. Like I was in an Arkansas only section for the most part. So it was definitely a lot of fun to see a 4-quarter game go in favor of the Tigers. And that's my biggest takeaway, Blake, is that this team put together a 4-quarter dominant. I know physicality is big for you being a former lineman, just an overall physical performance. Love to see it. Love to freaking see it, baby. Huh?
I think it was the best game they played all year. I think it was Garrett Nussmeier's best game. Screw them touchdowns.
Yeah.
Spare me on the touch. The decision-making was elite. So
Yeah.
Now,
No, go on.
he did have two. Again, he also almost got picked twice. So could it be better? I probably shouldn't say elite. It was really good. Borderline elite because he almost got picked off twice. But Carter, I'm going to tell you, man, there were options. We talked about this last week. If you're in 3rd and 6, if you're in 3rd and 8, and Kyron Lacey's in the slot, run the drag route. Throw it to him.
Yeah.
Stop trying to hit the ball down the field. Get the first down. And Carter, I love that Joe Sloan and Garrett went into this game, Joe calling it, coming up with a game plan, and then Garrett going out there and executing it. It was the most flawless game that I think that he's had as a starter. I know people are going to hate me on that, but I loved it.
Yeah, well, in terms of flawlessness, you are right in terms of not making the mistakes. And as you pointed out, there were a few throws into heavy coverage. The 3rd and 13 ball should have never been thrown with the coverage being the way that it was. But like you said,
he should have gotten picked off there.
Yeah, he ran the offense really well. He was obviously, as he has been all season, more great than not great. And look, Blake, I think the big thing was getting Caden Durham the football early and often and starting him from the go, right? Because this is another game where he's dominated. And one thing about Caden Durham is he just demoralizes you, right? It helps your defense out so much when your defense is playing with a lead, right? It's rare that the LSU defense has played with the lead because, as you know, LSU gets off to slow starts. You get out to a fast start versus South Alabama. What does the defense do? They play a good game versus a really good South Alabama offense. Arkansas's offense, Blake, as you have said on your AYS SEC channel, is good. I mean, they're a good SEC offense. Are they an elite SEC offense? No, they're a good, solid SEC offense. And guess what? When you have a lead, the other team cannot run the football. And stopping what was a really good Arkansas rushing attack and just suffocating their run game, it helps when you have a lead. And Caden Durham was the main reason why we scored a touchdown on the first drive of the game. So shout out to him and the offense as a whole.
Yeah, his vision was elite. He's getting healthier. And look, not only him, but I think even the 5 times that you go out of the pistol and you're handing it, like if that's what I'm going to get from Caleb Jackson, keep feeding the beast. I mean, Carter, look, let's not get back into it this week. I'm going to take the 3.9 yards per carry that they had against Ole Miss over 30 incompletions because, again, I still think even if you're in 3rd and 6, you have the situation now that you have Trey'Dez Green in the slot. He catches a big 3rd down pass on a slant. You have 2 big body wide receivers. Carter, somebody's going to be in man-on-man at some point for some situation. Either they're going to have to play off of you or your 2 physical wide receivers, they're going to have to jam them up. You're going to have to show that you can do that against the both of them. Now, again, I thought it was flawless. I'm not overreacting to the penalties. And I know some people in the chat don't really like me saying that. Are you overreacting to the false start penalties? Or overreacting is probably not a good word. How are you reacting to the false start penalties on Saturday?
Yeah, Blake, I'm always going to be a little bit softer in my analysis on young players and first-year starters, right? SEC football's hard. But, Blake, the center play has got to get better. I just feel that has been an issue. As Brian Kelly, said after the game, the snap infractions aren't entirely on DJ Chester, and the penalties aren't entirely on DJ Chester, and some of the things that he struggled with isn't entirely on him either. But it's a problem. And
Garrett changed. We went back and looked at this. Do you want to hear a crazy stat?
Let's hear it.
Garrett changed the protection 7 times with 8 seconds left on the clock. 7 times in the second half.
Right. And
he can't do that. He's got to, at that point, you got to roll with it, right? Like you can't. Yeah. And then Carter, look, there were a lot of commotion. There was a lot of commotion along the line of scrimmage when the ball's being snapped. Carter, that only tells me one thing, that they're changing something at the end and Garrett's not seeing it yet quick enough. He's getting to the right play. But, Carter, you can't do that to a center in general, and you can't do that to a center that young, right? Like, I know that Garrett's working his way through this and through that, but, man, you got to sometimes roll with – I mean, what do you want DJ to do?
Right, no, and that's why I don't want to be too harsh on him, because you do see a lot of late-ish checking, and that could really, really mess with someone. If it's one thing if it's Lloyd Cushenberry, multiple year starter, but it's his first year and it's a true road game, right? Mm-hmm. I would definitely limit that more in true road game scenarios. But yes, the pre-snap penalties do need to get cleaned up, and as you said, a lot of it is on the quarterback, right? Getting everyone aligned and ready to go before the snap and on the same page.
Changing things after he's given a call. Okay, after the clock goes off in his helmet, and he's not been able to relay it quickly enough, and I think that's where you've been having struggles in the run game. Here's what I'm going to say: they need to get to 2 running plays and then flip it. Meaning, hey, we're either going what we used to call in our offense, we're going to either go 753, where you're going through the 3 hole in the left, or 754 and you're going through the 4 hole in the right. And wherever your favorable numbers are, you say your cadence, you say your number. And then that way you can choose where the numbers are based off of if you're going to continue to go 5 linemen down. There's another thing that happened on Saturday, too, that's not on DJ. Carter, they went twice on 3rd downs to what I would contend as a 6-1 look. They would bring 2 guys down, either safety or linebacker. It's actually what LSU did, ironically, when Whit Weeks batted the ball in the air. More of like a 6-1. You have a safety walking down, linebacker walking down, and they're coming after you. Garrett's seeing it, and then DJ's got it. He's telling Garrett's telling DJ what's coming, and then he kind of gets flustered and then changes the call. He's got to roll with it or scream what we used to scream, bail, mean fan out. Bail, bail, bail. Pick up the guy that is in front of you after your drop. And then so I think that will get better. But here's the thing of why I'm not freaking out about it. The reason I'm not freaking out about it is because now Brian Kelly gets to do the most Brian Kelly thing of old. Boy, they get to work on this shit this week. They get to really emphasize it this week. And I'm glad it came in a dominating win. If that is what you got to fix, it's going to be critical this week. I'm glad you get to work on it this week, though.
Right. So that 6-1 look, actually, Blake, has been used a lot more in the NFL now to stop some of the outside zone.
I mean, it was Whit Weeks' pick 6. Yep. I would say not pick 6, but his pick. Carter, it has been effective. But what did Arkansas's offensive lineman do? What did their center do, who's relatively good? He just went bail on it. He just said bail. They fanned out, and they picked up whoever was there. Right. That's why they didn't overreact to Weeks getting there, and Weeks made an incredible play, as he's now known as the Honky Badger.
The Honky. One thing before Whit, right, is I want to shout out C.J. Daniels, right?
No doubt.
A really good performance, and Blake, he is probably the most unlucky receiver than Brian Thomas Jr.'s true freshman season, where he had a lot of things called back. If you actually go look, BTJ, his first 2 years, he had just the worst luck with penalties, bad overturns, all that stuff, and then it all came together in year 3. CJ burns a guy, would have been a touchdown pass interference. right? The guy got other people open. You know, you mentioned the trade screen first down. A lot of that was CJ.
Yep.
Create the traffic. Man, he's just good. I'm not. I know I talk about him a lot. I'm not saying like he's like one of these all-time great players. He's just very, very, very good, and he makes LSU's wide receiver room that much better. And Aaron had another good game. Mason had another good game. Kyron. So really good to
Dude,
see.
They got to feed 86 more. They got to. He had 2 absolutely ridiculous catches, right? Like, I mean, Carter, why they refuse to get him involved is beyond me. I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, so I love the split zone first down call to help ice it in the fourth quarter. But you're right. I mean, Mason has taken this game to another level. You know, that was for a penalty to call it back was a ridiculous catch you made down the right side as well. And look, Blake, this was an Arkansas defensive line that was really good. You know, this defensive line has been an undervalued unit. It's a big reason why Arkansas is where they are right now, a better team than people expected them to be. And LSU's offensive line, for the most part, rose up to the challenge, right? Yeah, I think some people are overreacting to some of the plays from Lane Jackson against Will Campbell. That's good. I mean, Lane Jackson's a slated 3rd-round pick. He's a good football player, right? So
he played with an edge because that's his old team.
Yeah, and Dellinger's his old roommate, right? So he had a few good plays for the most part. I think Will locked him up. You could see all their one-on-one records. It's been tweeted out from James Foster, No Flags Film. Will had another, I would consider to be a really good game. So look, I mean,
Carter, they gave up 2 pressures,
right? And look, one of those, and one of it is because Garrett just got destroyed on a red zone throw. But Lane, I mean, that was one of the 2 times that he beat Will, right? That's it. The rest of it to me looked pretty good. So I'm really excited for this offensive line. And now this is to me, you know, Ole Miss, you know, I felt played really well against this offensive line. I think this will be the toughest game because you are on the road. So I'm very excited to see what they do versus a Texas A&M defensive line that is very good.
All right, so let's recap defense, and I want to get to A&M with you because, I mean, this is the premier matchup for LSU here.
And in the country.
And in the country. Yeah. Correct. Carter, I don't know how much you heard before we came to the break and you came on the show. I hate taking out things from statistics, but then I love to do it when it's as egregious as one specific thing. Like if you take out this, through the other 3.5 quarters, this team has actually been doing this on a consistent basis. Ahmad Bro needs to be discussed, Carter, at a very high clip. And let me tell you why. I think he's been so fundamentally sound in his gap integrity that even when he gets blown off, he's there at the right spot of where he needs to be. Secondly, they're 33rd in the country in run defense. If you take out the 2 long runs by Sellers, and then you take out the long run by Bentley, Carter, they're top 10 in the country in run defense.
Yeah, I mean no.
Bro. All right, now, so I know that their secondary has been leakier pause than a faucet pause on Pornhub pause. But the bottom line is, okay, bro, that front seven's been playing freaking good. I mean, like, I understand they've given up the big plays, but geez, dude.
Yeah, and Blake, to me, the biggest takeaway from the game, when you look at it from – well, I'll share this before we get to the A&M perspective of the defense. That you're right. You know, Ahmad Bro made one gap mistake in the South Carolina game. It cost him. And since then, you're right. I mean, he's been – very fundamentally sound for a guy that is young, right? And he's played amazing. Deshaun Womack's a guy that's coming on pretty well. PFF graded him pretty highly, but even before like this PFF kind of breakout game where, you know, I think he played like 10, 15 snaps in this game, he had started playing better. Swinson, you know, he didn't have the sacks. He was really good again. Savion Jones was really good again.
Pause.
No, stop.
You know that should have been a penalty, correct?
On which one?
On the Taylor Green one. Remember when Braden Swinson knocked the ball out of his hands? When a defender knocks the ball out of your hand, and then he caught it, he double clutched on it, you cannot then throw the football because he was throwing it. So you're going to have to determine.
Okay.
So since he was throwing it, okay, and then he double caught it, that's a double pass. Here's the truth. They should have given him a sack on that, if we're being honest. You cannot – because so they determined on the field that it was a throw, and while he was throwing, that he caught the fumble, and then he re-threw it again. How do you have that? I mean, you can't not give him a sack and then say, oh, well, he was throwing it, but then it can't be a fumble so that he can throw it, okay? So that then it would be a penalty. I was erupting during the game. I'm like, this is a flag. It's a 15-yard penalty. So, again, he should have had a sack, though. I'm going to defend him on that.
And, well, anything to get him to double-digit sacks, I'm for, right? I'm with you on that.
But do you understand the logic of what I'm saying? You can't.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I'm going to go back and rewatch the play. But that play aside, I mean, this was arguably their best game, right? They played really, really, really well. And then obviously
Arkansas was a top 10 total offense coming into this too.
Yeah, I mean, look, outside of some, throws over the middle that were a little easy and a coverage bust on the Armstrong touchdown, the Arkansas offense was just very off kilter, right? And honestly, Blake, this was a really good game. And I know so much focus is on Whit Weeks and the Greg Penn strip, but the guy who made the play on the Greg Penn strip was Jordan Gilbert. Yeah, right. The fact that and it was an open field play, right, where he was facing a running back who could have gone either direction. He tried to juke him, didn't. And the fact that Gilbert, it's so hard as anyone in the open field, but a safety nonetheless, to square up someone that clean. The fact that he not only tackled him that clean, he also stalemated him, right? Every time
a 240-pound back.
Right. So DeBinion should have fell forward. He wasn't able to just fall forward immediately, and that allowed Greg Penn to hustle and bat the ball loose, right?
And then you had the Sage Ryan absolutely killing a man. By the way, did you see that they gave Sage Ryan the green dot? Did you notice that?
That was interesting. I didn't at first because I was hammered early in that game. But we got a new sponsor. Shout out Sequoia Dental. I was at their tailgate, and it was pandemonium. And these Arkansans were throwing it down. So I didn't notice that at first. And then someone texted me. I was like, dude, Sage is calling the shots. I'm like, okay, that's good. And not only that,
Blake Baker's telling him where he needs to be on every play because he thinks he's athletic enough, but he's too scared to make a decision. And they're telling him where he needs to be. Because, dude, earlier before he laid the guy out, he tipped a pass that would have been a touchdown. And when complete, and they missed a field goal. That's a massive play, Carter.
Yeah, it was, and that was going to be what I said. Is that was Sage Ryan making a play. Sage, let's be honest, he doesn't make plays, and in this game, he came out and made freaking plays. So honestly, I was thoroughly impressed with him.
Me too.
And honestly, the story is Whit Weeks, obviously, just taking over this game.
The honky badger.
The honky badger. I think it was my buddy. Who called him that at first? I think it was Adam something.
I don't know, but I saw it on Twitter, and I can't stop calling him that. The honky badger. Did you see Tyron react to it on Twitter?
Yeah, I loved it.
So great. But to your point, Whit Weeks is the last 2 weeks played phenomenal football.
Yeah, and they showed the clip of the Tyron Matthew interception was like the Whit Weeks play. And like you said, the Sage Ryan hit was also, that Chad Jones had the famous hit versus Arkansas. It was a lot like that one. But let's be honest, it's harder to have one of those hits now. It's harder. And I commend the referees for making the right call. And obviously, you said when was the last time somebody hit somebody that hard? Honestly, it was Jacoby Stevens in the national championship game versus
when he hit the dude in the back. But that's not even he hit somebody in the back. I mean, that's kind of a
no. It was what play I'm talking about? The Jacoby Stevens.
Yeah, when he hit him in the back, right?
Was it in the back? Yeah,
Yeah,
it was in the back. Yeah.
He hit it. He jumped up. He hit him in the back, and he stood over him. I'm like, dude, you hit a dude in the back. But when's the last time that you seen a DB at LSU say, "Here comes the boom, ready or not"? Here comes the boys from the South.
It's funny. I thought you were going to do the double chunk chocolate cookie guy. Boom.
Those people irritate the shit out of me.
No. AJ and Big Justice do not. Blake, you have good taste. You cannot be mad.
I feel like, is Big Justice the dad?
Yes.
I feel like he was born on Epstein Island.
Dude, I was going to give you a boom, but you're not getting the boom treatment anymore. You can't talk about the double chunk chocolate cookies like that. I will defend their honor and the Rizzler.
Yeah, okay.
I will.
All right. But in reference to Whit Weeks, Carter, he might be the best linebacker right now in the SEC, or he's playing like it.
Yeah, look, Danny Sutson's really good. Chris Pupal really good at Ole Miss too, but Whit Weeks has been the best.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers show it, and obviously his snaps aren't the same as those other guys who have been starting from start to finish. And this would be my big takeaway. And I hope everyone takes this away from Texas A&M for the Texas A&M game. So I was on your show last week, and we talk about this stat. It's kind of in the Power Hour stat. Going on the road back-to-back in the SEC is really hard, right? It doesn't matter who you're playing back-to-back in the SEC. It's so hard to win one week and then fly to another place and play again. It's just so freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm a little bit higher on LSU doing it is because, Blake, Arkansas only had 50 plays on offense. Okay? They only had 50 plays, which is by far the fewest an LSU defense has played all season long, right? So the play totals, I could actually just pull it. I charted this.
75 to 50?
Right. So let me pull this up. It was 7 a.m. I did not sleep putting together the film study this weekend because, as you know, I had to do it for all the other SEC teams after going to a game I no voice. So first game versus USC, they played 60 plays. Second game, 60 plays. Third game, 61 plays. Fourth game, 64 plays. Fifth game, 58 plays. And then versus Ole Miss, the LSU defense was on the field for 84 plays. All right. So the following week, to only have to play 50 plays and then have an 8-minute drive in the fourth quarter on offense, that means this defense really didn't have to exert itself in a full game scenario or a game that they normally play, right? All the backups were practically in.
And they got taken out halfway through the fourth quarter.
Right. Yes. And actually before that, because it was an 8-minute drive. So Blake, this defense, this is not a typical back-to-back road game scenario, right? If you actually, average out the amount of plays, yes, the Ole Miss game, you're always going to play more plays versus them because they go so fast and they're a good offense. But the fact that versus a good Arkansas defense, you force these turnovers and the offense was able to maintain these long-ass drives. Yes, the LSU defense, you're scared about the depth and going on the road again to play A&M. But I'm not, because part of the reason why I am such a big believer in the back-to-back road thing is because of fatigue, right? This defense, yeah, they had to exert themselves and go out there and make plays versus Arkansas, but it's drastically different having to play a full game and then not really playing a full game. So that's a good sight for us as we get ready to go to College Station.
There's two things I'm going to preach all week. Number one, how does your front seven that's been playing very good react to a team that wants to line up and punch you in the mouth? That is 1,000% what they're going to do. You did it well against Arkansas, but Arkansas, to the caliber of athlete up front, is the Dr. Pibb version to the Coca-Cola of A&M. This same exact philosophy maintains. Carter, their philosophy is they want to be a time of possession football team and run the football right at you. It's why they did it to Mizzou. I mean, I know everybody wants to talk about Connor Wigman. Connor Wigman looked like dog shit last week. Okay, he came back to earth. I think Missouri's flawed. I think that they're going to want to make a statement and run the football early. How do you react to it? It's going to be the main thing. But here's the thing. The number one thing that LSU's got to do this week, you got to start fast. Here's the reason why. I don't think Connor Wigman in this offense can play catch up. Not long enough. And their secondary has been leaky. Carter, name the best quarterback or passing attack that they've seen all year. Arguably Mizzou. And that's where Mizzou's biggest struggle offensively has come, is protection and getting the ball to Luther Burden. I'm with you. I think I'm with you. Look, I'm starting to believe. Now, 3 weeks ago, I came out here and clipped something that said playoff contender, and I got booed out the building. It ain't so funny now, is it, mother truckers? No, it's not. Okay? I'm going to tell you this. They're going to line up and run the football, and you better go out there and want to punch them in the mouth, because you got a playoff berth and an SEC championship game that now you're in contention for. Now it's real. Atop the SEC going into a bye week when you got Bama coming into town that now is very beatable. Carter, you got everything in front of you. Are you going to shrink? Or are you going to be the man? Are you going to be the dude? You know, we both got pictures behind us of a dude, a man, like they answered the call. It's time to go into Junction or go into College Station and punch somebody in their shit. Here's the thing, man. You proved to me last week that you got it in you. That's the point. I saw Sage Ryan damn near kill a man. I heard that warrants were getting cut by Arkansas or Fayetteville PD on what Sage Ryan did. I've seen you do it. There's no going back now. Now you got to go out there and punch somebody in their shit, and I think you can do it.
Ask Baker Mayfield about Fayetteville PD, man. They do not. You want to know who can tackle?
Fayetteville PD was the one who tackled Baker Mayfield when he got arrested.
Yeah, it happened. I'm telling you, man, dude, Fayetteville, it's a slept on college. You can get wild, bro. It gets crazy.
I just don't know if Italians do well in a place like Fayetteville.
I know a few. But look. You make a really good point, and one thing that really shocked Arkansas was just like A&M. They had not faced one of the better passers, right? A lot of Arkansas's defensive success, they deserve a lot of credit. Travis Williams has been a very good DC, but it's kind of shocking when you play receivers in a passing game like LSU's that mimics a pro game, right? So like Brian Kelly was talking about it. You know, so much of college is just like screens and popcorn kind of stuff. It's hard to prepare for Garrett Nussmeier, as crazy as that sounds. It honestly is. Like normally when you hear of hard to prepare for quarterbacks, you think of dual threat quarterbacks, guys that are truly breathtakingly fast. But Garrett is hard to prepare for because he plays so quick, and it's frustrating when you call a really good pressure or a really good twist done, and you're not getting the big sack that you would normally get versus 99% of the quarterbacks. And the quick game stuff, he makes you pay if you do this off coverage BS, right? There's a lot of thirds.
For once, you had a lot of off coverage against Ole Miss, and there were things underneath he did not hit.
Right.
Look, I'm just going to tell you this. I'll tell you this right here on this show. I know for a fact on Sunday and Monday, they preached to him and showed him every clip that he missed that they wanted him to take underneath. Carter, here's a fact. LSU went out there and they told him, we're going to call hitches and you don't have a chance and you better not change the play. If they're off coverage, we're going to keep throwing it. And they forced it into his game. I mean, I'm just telling you what I know that LSU did. So,
and you could see, honestly, Blake, you could see it because
I know.
They're like, I've never seen Garrett that decisively throw hitches and not even really think about it. And it's amazing.
Carter, that wins football games.
Yeah, and if you actually watch, and it's hard because you actually have to go back and watch the full games. That was a lot of what Jaden Daniels was as a quarterback, right? It was hitches.
Carter, it's how you won in 2022, brother.
Right.
It's not. It's legit how you beat. And you know what they're going to do this week? Remember, you boys said this. They're going to hit somebody on a hitch and go this week.
Hit him on the double.
It's coming.
Well, and this is a big problem with Garrett. Outside of the turnover-worthy plays, the deep ball accuracy has got to get better. And I know he got it
42%.
Yeah, and look, I'll say he's gotten unlucky. The CJ ball, was perfect, right? But
that doesn't get counted against him.
Oh, it doesn't. But I'm saying it doesn't go for him either, if that makes sense, right?
Fair.
So it's one of those things where it's been a problem. The deep ball stuff has been a problem. Mm-hmm. So if those hitch and goes and those double moves open themselves up to you, you honestly have to make them pay for it, right? You're not going to have as much of a margin of error like you've had in some of these other games on deep balls that you've missed. So I'm hoping we get more of that. But to your point about A&M, you're right. They've not faced a quarterback who is this good through the air. It's just, and Arkansas hadn't yet either, and it really shocked them. So hopefully LSU can get the quick passing game going, and then, like you said, hit a deep ball.
I mean, Carter, again, the guy in the picture behind the both of us. What I had an epiphany when that man played. Look, man, I'm going to take every single thing that you give me. I don't care. I know what you're in. I know what you're doing, and I am going to take advantage. Now, obviously, Joe hit shit deep. I mean, watch the national title game. But what was his game, Carter? If you're going to give him 8-9 yards, he's going to take it. There's just no doubt about it. And they forced that in Garrett's game. Again, I will go to my grave. Nobody can change my opinion. That was the best game that he played. Because I need you to be decisive in the sense of, look, man, if they're going to give you something and you keep showing that on film, the thing that you really want to do is going to be there. I promise. But, Carter, you cannot have 30 incompletions. It is bad play. It is bad. That is the worst thing that you can do. Get me the 3.9 yards per rush. That was what our conversation was last week. Get him in 3rd and 6. By the way, Kyron Lacey on the drag, Carter, give that man the football. Throw it to him. Throw it at Trey Dez. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe grandpa. I don't know. By the way, let me ask you this before I get you out of here. What's your thoughts on Bama and the rest of the SEC here? Because I picked Georgia to beat Texas last week, and I got booed out of the building by Texas fans. What do you make of the rest of the SEC right now?
Yeah, nobody knows fucking shit. You don't know anything. I said on the post. I said on my post game show, nobody knows anything, man. And look, that's what Brian Kelly said. If Brian Kelly was allowed to curse, and come on, man,
question he got asked today was bullshit.
Yeah, but if BK could really talk like he should be allowed to talk, he would say nobody knows fucking shit. That's what he was saying. Like earlier this year, LSU was not playing their best, and now they're starting to play.
He talked about it as consistency. Everybody in the country is looking for consistency, is what he said.
And look,
God, it's so true, dude. And the way that he articulates, I mean, dude, he puts shit in a way that I'm just like, bro, Ed Orgeron doesn't give you that. And he's right. He puts things into perspective that we don't think that should be in perspective.
Yeah, so that's why I listen to almost every Brian Kelly press, because you'll learn. Like, I'm not just saying this just to say it, but if you listen closely, he's actually giving you stuff, right? And look, are there better teams than others in the SEC? Yeah, of course, but Vanderbilt has a real path to the playoff, but they lost to Georgia State on their resume, right? So look, it's a weird season. It's been the weirdest year, as you said before, since 2007. And look, do I think LSU is the best team in the SEC? I do not. But at the same time,
Georgia,
I would lean there, because to go on the road and play that dominantly, and I don't want to talk about the refs thing. It's just not something I like to.
It's not why they lost. But
that Georgia outcoached and outplayed them very badly.
See, here's the thing, too. I don't think we knew anything about Texas.
No, you didn't. I mean, now that I mean, once you saw the South Carolina-Oklahoma game, that should have told you everything you needed to know going into it, that Texas really, really, really hadn't done anything versus.
I mean, Carter, it should have taught you about Tennessee too. I mean, Tennessee didn't. I mean, look, man. I mean, Oklahoma, for what it's worth, too. I mean, Tennessee didn't find a deep passing game until the second half, and Nico got lucky. That long throw that he had, he was a little luck on it. I mean, he had a.
Why would you? That ball to Thornton down the sideline was great.
Yeah, because if you notice, he trips a little right before he throws it. If he really uncorks it, that bitch is heading into the sex roll of the stands.
Oh, so you think his stumble?
Yeah, I think he took a little bit less off of it because he thought he was about to hum that thing down the field, and he's gonna be all right. I think Nico will be all right.
But I will say this, like, I thought I was going to get old takes exposed so bad because before the season I said I think Milroe would be solid but not great, not elite. And obviously after the Georgia game, he was so far and away the Heisman favorite, but I stood steadfast in the opinion. In the past couple of weeks, it's his bad traits have showed up. Now, is it entirely on him now? I mean, there's offensive line issues, some skill guy issues outside of Ryan Williams. And honestly, Blake, for me in this Tennessee game, it became a little too Ryan Williams focused in many ways, right? And that's
company are getting out coached at a massive rate right now.
Yes, that's the thing that would concern me the most about Alabama is that between the headsets, DeBoer has been so much better than most of the coaches out there, and I was never a fan of their coordinator situation going into this season. I'm not just saying that retroactively because even the Bama media is turning on the coordinators. I thought the Womack hire, it looked good on paper and the connections that they had previously, but it's such a weird thing going from Group of 5 head coach and willingly taking a coordinator job. And like Ryan Grubb's really good. I mean, we see what he's doing in Seattle. Ryan Grubb is a really, really, really good offensive coordinator. And I had heard through coaching sources that, there's always this big debate over, is it the head coach who's an offensive-minded coach or is it the offensive coordinator calling the plays? I had heard through people I trust in the coaching industry that Ryan Grubb was really good. It wasn't a case where it was DeBoer himself and Grubb was just kind of like the figurehead, like Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael, for instance. No, Ryan Grubb's really good. Like, he's really, really, really good. He's done great things at Seattle this year. And Nick Sheridan is an issue. I honestly think, Blake, for me, the jump shot thing, which is still the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and then to willingly go on the press conference and say, everything we do is coached. I'm like, wait, you're telling me in the year 2024, you coached your guys on the outside to do the jump shot thing?
Yeah, like I felt like it was, you can get away with that. This is the first thing that I thought when I saw it. You can do that because in the Pac-12 because it's quacky. You can't do that here.
No, that is, dude. Could you imagine being a booster who gets $150,000 a year to the program and seeing that shit? And like, if I were a big booster and I gave millions to the university, I don't care if a player gets too crazy with the celebration or anything like that. But if you told me that your coach to do the dumbest, I have seen dumb shit. Okay. I don't care if a player does something dumb because it's a player, right? But the fact that you said that,
you called that play in a real game.
You said it with a straight face. Okay.
I mean,
you can't say that.
So insignificant to the play too. I mean, it's like it's a fucking quarterback sneak.
Yes, and the funny thing, and it goes back to my issue. The funny thing is like that actually ended up being a good thing for him because people don't realize how badly Milroe has regressed over these past couple of games.
I think he's hurt.
So you believe that?
Yeah, I believe it because after he got hit, there was a play in the second quarter. He got hit and laid on the ground, but they picked him up. Okay. They did not run him but once after that.
Oh, interesting. So
Mhm.
that's
He only had one called run after that.
Also, what are your thoughts on the his dad going off on that Tennessee fan?
I saw it. I would want to know what he was what somebody said to him.
Yeah, you should never talk to a player's parents at a game.
Here's another thing, though.
You should never.
Well, here's the truth. Why are you so dumb in wearing your son's jersey to a game? I understand wearing Alabama apparel to support your son, but you should know that people are going to be drunk, ignorant, and stupid, that they're going to associate you as his dad or his parents. Right. You're an idiot. Look, I mean this. You're an outright idiot for going to that place wearing that. Show your support. Carter, I will tell you this. If I go to any away game, I never wear LSU gear, ever.
Well,
I tell everybody that I'm sitting around that I'm just a spectator. I'm came to watch a good game.
No, you need to wear you don't go to games.
Do it. Not on away games. Carter, I wore a black polo, black jeans with a golden watch when LSU beat Alabama in 11. And Brandon Taylor made a big play in that game. Screw you. I am not. No way.
No, bad. Like Nola P said. And by the way, I do.
I'm not doing it because why am I going to invite myself to get in a fight?
Okay. First, I do want to shout out one of our favorite mutual viewers, Paris.
She just sent this in. I'm glad. Before we get out of here, she sent in a super chat, by the way. She says, Stamps has to play better. Can LSU stop the run consistently? Hey, Carter and Blake. Your thoughts on that before we get out of here?
Okay. And Paris, I will answer this after this. But that's a bad take. It's a bad take.
No, players, I'm not wearing LSU gear, dog. It ain't happening.
Okay. All right. First off, to the should you wear your quarterback son's jersey to the game?
You're inviting that to happen.
You are. I think it's a little bit different for the quarterback, though. I think if you're wearing your son, who's a backup offensive lineman player, no one's going to mess with you. But if if you're sitting in the player section and you're wearing Mill Row 4, people are going to mess with you.
That's my point. That's my point. So I'm not doing it either. Screw you.
But Blake, the fun of going to the game as a road fan is wearing the opposed. Blake, I'm about to. This is going to get you mad. This is going to get you mad.
All right, say it.
You're being a bitch. You're being a bitch, dude. Stand 10 toes
Carter,
down.
You're too lovable. I will get in a fight. You're too lovable.
No,
you don't like conflict. I will slap the shit out of someone.
I will tell you this. I had a little bit more oomph in the stands because I was around all Arkansas fans. They were already giving me shit. There was a mutual viewer of both of ours. I don't remember his name. He was in the film study. I put him in the film study. I don't remember his name. And he asked him. There was fans bothering both of us. And I brought the energy, man. You should wear LSU gear.
Well, I don't go to games. How about that?
I know you don't, but it's the principle. Is there a line that you can cross as an opposing fan at a stadium? Yes. Okay. When I am an opposing fan, I try to toe that line as close as I can, and I go overboard. You don't curse. You don't demoralize against a player. If another player, don't do asshole things, basically. You should be able to wear your own team's gear.
Fair, but I'm not testing. I've seen too many fights happen. Let me say this. Can you get to Paris's question before we get out of here?
Can LSU stop the run consistently? The way they're playing right now? Sure. But you're talking about ties and all of that. Le'Veon Moss is going to have a little more gas in the tank this weekend for the home team matchup. So it should be interesting. But the way that they're playing now, you'd like to think that they would be able to. But as always, Blake, it was fun.
Carter, the power, Bryant. Good evening, good sir. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. Later.
All right. We're going to get out of here with them. A little extended, but we're going to get out of here with them. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.